Hey, how's it going, guys? Supreme Total War here, and today I'm playing as the Empire going up against the Dwarves, and my opponent's bringing Grombrindle, which is cool because I haven't played against him before. Um, yeah, I'm bringing a fairly small army. I put a lot of money into my infantry, which is great swords. They perform excellent against the Dwarves. They have armor-piercing damage, and I find that with most dwarf players nowadays, they don't bring a lot of armor-piercing units. They tend to go for Longbeards or Dwarf Warriors or Ironbreakers. So, yeah, I like to pick great swords going up against the dwarves to do really well. Crossbows, they're not armor-piercing, but over time they'll do their damage. Three Empire Knights, just cheap cavalry. They don't have to do any cavalry against cavalry fighting, just for cycle charges and stuff. We've got an Amber Wizard, Empire Captain. They're all flying mounts, I think, except for the Amber Wizard. The Amber Wizard is on just a horse. My opponent has two runesmiths, Grombrindle, of course, which is cool to see. Pretty basic dwarf army. I find that most players nowadays will bring dwarf warriors, longbeards, cheaper units, and then mix them in with like one or two high tier units like the Grumbling Guard and the Regiment of Renown Ironbreakers. I can't remember what they're called, like the Norgrimlings or something. Yes. But anyways, he's got a pretty defensive position, but he didn't bring any artillery, which I wasn't expecting. So I thought I was going to have to charge, but it turns out it's kind of going to be equal on who needs to charge in here. I got my Amber Wizard up, though. I completely mismanaged him, and he gets a... Sure, yeah, he takes a ton of fire from the Quarrelers. I did not realize. Plus a miscast, and I thought I was going to lose him for a second. I didn't. Yeah, it takes a pretty fair amount of damage. But I did get an Overcast Doomflock off, and I know the dwarves are resistant to magic. They all have that 25%. But as dwarves, they tend to be very balled up, tight formations, so you can get a lot of units at a time. As you can see, it doesn't do tons of damage. Actually, it did a good amount to the Quarrelers, but it doesn't do ton to the infantry. But over time, as I keep casting them, it will cause significant damage. Now there's a bit of skirmish fight, so since there's no artillery, it's all up to the Quarrelers and my crossbows to see who's going to charge in first. I always forget the controls. Yeah, so he's got 4 Quarrelers versus my 4 crossbows. So in this fight, I believe his Quarrelers would win, but with my Doomflock, it's going to be a close battle. Just lots of fire right now. And I do have my Empire Knights on the flanks over here, 2 on that flank, 1 on this flank. Yes, Quarrelers are taking casualties, but one of my crossbows has already has already broken. But I can't remember, where's my Amber Wizard? He's back here. He will come back in a second to put some more Doomflock on them. And over here, miners, they're cheap, they're good, but they don't have charge resistance like other dwarf units. They don't have that charge defense, so you can, just off one charge, they will take significant damage. So it's a fairly even skirmish fight right now, but it is starting, I want to say, starting to lean in my favor. It's very even, though. Actually, I'd say it's leaning in his favor more. He keeps breaking my units, but they do come back. And here my Amber Wizard is charging out. I know I charge here, so I don't want to miss it. Yep, here it is. So I'd get a nice downhill charge into his miners, which I don't think he was expecting. I think he was thinking that I was going to wait for something, but he does have the Slayers nearby, so I have to pull out very quickly. But as you can see, those miners took some pretty good damage off that one charge, and I took relatively none. Did I cast a Doomflock? No, I don't think I did. I'm just kind of running him around, trying to dodge some fire. But at this point, I thought my crossbow... I still have 2 fairly healthy units of crossbow, actually full health crossbows. He was focusing on the 2 center ones. And yes, I do finally put off a Doomflock, which is hitting his whole main line, as well as this one Quarreler. So as you can see, his main line is already, other than the Norgrimlings, because they have so much HP, but they're already at half health, just from my Doomflocks. That's why I like Doomflock so much. And I did spawn a Manticore. I forgot about that. Yeah, I just needed to make sure I had the hero killing power, because Grombrindle, obviously very good in melee. The 2 runesmiths are going to be buffing his troops. And here I decided I was going to bring my Empire Knights close to his Coralers, something I should have been doing from the beginning. Definitely a mistake. I can just kind of scare them back into their little ball while my crossbows keep firing. And at this point, yeah, all 4 of my crossbows have returned. His Coralers are starting to take significant damage, and his main line is suffering. So at this point, I was feeling like I was in a pretty good position. I was winning the skirmish. I had done damage to his main line. I go for another charge here. He has a Grumbling Guard close by, but still, they're not going to do tons of damage before I can get out of there. They do a bit, and then it's the Rune of Wrath and Ruin that gets me there. He does a bit of damage. But as you can see, those miners are half health now, as is most of his army. And I go for a little bit of a charge here. No, I feint a charge. Those are Longbeards, so they're going to have charge defense against large foes, so it would be kind of pointless. And here I had a bit of a micro problem. He does catch me. I wasn't expecting him to chase me down like this. So he does catch me. I pull out of there pretty quickly, though. Still the skirmish fight, and right now he's got his Coralers mixed in with his infantry. So my crossbows are going to be hitting both his infantry and his Coralers at the same time, which is going to be good for me. I'm just going to be getting extra kills there. And here comes another Doomflock hitting a ton of units in his front line. It's going to be finishing off what's left of his Coralers, and Norgrimling's taking some damage. His whole front line is just crumbling at this point. I do charge the Dwarf Warriors here, but they have charge defense against large foes, so it's kind of pointless. They don't take very much damage at all. And at this point, yeah, as you can see, barely any damage, but at this point he sends like 3 units over here to help his Grumbling Guard, because they were fighting 2 of my Empire Knights. I pull out of there, but now he's like kind of splitting up his army, which is something you don't want to do as a dwarf. So now half his army is kind of chasing me down here. His front line starts to push in, and I was like, okay, I'll take this engagement. Half of his army is back here. He's kind of getting split up. My knights are just open for charges. And his front line isn't strong. It would have been had my Doomflocks not gone off, but his Norgrimlings are... they've taken damage. And going up against greatswords, that's going to be a battle I can definitely win. Crossbows got to use all their ammo, so they're just going to go in, break up the charge, so my greatswords get their full bonus. And as you can see here, he's very, I don't know why that didn't work, but actually does get to throw some bombs at my greatswords. Looks a lot worse than it is. Doesn't do a ton of damage, but definitely disrupts the formation, causes some morale penalties. But now my greatswords are going to get into the fight, and they're going to do quite well against these armored units that do not deal armor piercing back. And as you can see, his units are just coming in now, but they're taking charges from behind. Or do I get to them? I think I got caught on that unit there. Slayer's coming in to try and fend me off. But at this point, my front lines have engaged and are kind of, 100% winning against his front lines. I've got my flying goon squad just charging into the back of him. My Feral Manticore is just holding my flank. Amber Wizard is, I don't know what you're doing back here, but yeah, Empire Knights trying to keep his units from joining the fight. Even if I have to charge into some of his Slayers, at this point they've done their job, and they're just keeping all these units away from the front line so that my units can win with ease. He is trying to flank me with some Grumbling Guard. They're pretty depleted. There's his Runesmith. Both his Runesmiths are in combat, which isn't a great idea, but they're not against... What was that? Was that Flash Bomb? Yes, it was. Grombrindle looking cool. Haven't seen him yet, so this is very nice to see. And it looks like he's got his Slayers and some Dwarf Warriors holding his flank. I don't know what my... Oh yeah, I get a nice little charge into the back here. Jeez. There's fire everywhere. I've got my captain and the Empire Lord. I really can't see what's going on here. It's just chaos. And then here I was kind of... This is where I kind of got worried a little bit. My troops were getting... There was no front line anymore. It's just absolute chaos, which is usual with Warhammer. But my greatswords are fairly healthy. A couple of them have taken some hits. Generally, the Empire gets into the fight. I didn't want him to fight Grombrindle alone. But, so what I was doing is I tied him down with the Empire Captain so that my General of the Empire could take on the Runesmith. I needed to take them out. They were doing a lot of, they're buffing his troops too much. And at this point, it's just kind of a battle for the center. I'm holding up returning units. These Slayers are taking out my Empire Knights. They're going to win that probably, but as long as I can hold up a couple units. Using a Doomflock on what's left of his infantry here. It's definitely going to help to finish them off. Feral Manticore, still alive, coming in after his Runesmith. He's going to do well in that engagement. And I'm just kind of piling everything in onto Grombrindle. He won't go down easy, especially with the Runesmith beside him. But not much I can do here. Greatswords coming in. Very healthy unit of Greatswords, just holding up. What's left of the Dwarves trying to come back. Slayers, great against large, but they're not going to do very well in melee against units like these. Not at all. Feral Manticore going. I'm charging just through my own men, trying to finish off what's left of his infantry so I can focus down his hero. Where's Grombrindle in all of this? Okay, so now he's got both his Runesmiths, Grombrindle, everything he has is in this little ball here. And he actually, I noticed my General of the Empire was getting beaten on pretty badly. So I popped off a potion and sent him out of the battle. He'll come in when he's healthy enough. Feral Manticore still fighting, that's going to help me. Oh wow, Amber Wizard came in for a nice little charge there. Feral Manticore as well. Now what am I chasing off over here? Some Iron Breakers. And there's Grombrindle in the middle of the fight here. Shattered his army finally. Dwarves have great morale, they just don't shatter easy. Anyways, I think that was a good battle. Again, just showing how immobile the Dwarves are. They had trouble dealing with my cavalry just charging them straight on. Yeah, and as Dwarfs, I think one artillery piece is needed at least. You have to guarantee that the enemy charges you and that you don't have to charge the enemy. Because as you can see in that situation, a defensive faction had to go on the offensive, and it didn't work out. Crossbows did really well against the Quarrelers. They held up. Cavalry doing really well, and then my Greatswords, of course. The two units didn't do as well as I thought they would, these two, but I think they were getting beaten on by Grombrindle, and then these two just absolutely trashed his army. Doomflock definitely played a big role in this to help take down his Quarrelers, help take out his infantry. I mean, his front line was half health by the time he got to me, so that definitely helped this battle. Anyways, guys, I had fun. I'm going to try and upload some more 2v2s, 3v3s, maybe 4v4, because so far I've only done these ranked battles, but I'm going to do some big battles soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're new. I'll see you later.